The date is April 6, 2018, and the first large-scale war has occurred on the new server with the new Mk.4 mod pack. After discovering the location of the Volt's base, Fire Rest, leader of the GMCC faction, teamed up with the USMC faction, which was led by Edward G3, in order to launch an invasion. Details of the beginnings of the war are scarce, but these facts are known for sure. The unified USMC faction attempted an air invasion by shoving troops into at least one Hind A assault helicopter. Dill Pickles was able to intercept and destroy the invading helicopter, likely with the help of an early warning using radar technology. USMC was able to set up at least one forward operating base within 1 kilometer of the Volt's base, and USMC managed to damage the Volt's base using raiding weapons. This was most likely a raiding bomb dropped from an F-117 stealth bomber. This is where the video footage begins, with the Volt's warship setting sail to raid the USMC forward operating base. The USMC stealth bomber strikes again. However, Fire Rest apparently crashed the plane and died. The Volt's battleship soon reaches the USMC forward operating base and begins to bombard it. After several attempts, JB manages to hijack one of the ship's turrets. Eventually, a USMC bomber manages to destroy the battleship. USMC attempts multiple air raids against the Volt's base, but these attacks are unsuccessful. Volts once again attempts a counterattack, this time using the most powerful battleship in the game. more advanced anti-air weaponry, the ship is able to repel USMC bombs. Now that the forward operating base is compromised, USMC forces decide to press on and establish a new front just north of the Volts base. What they did not know is that this location would soon become a mass grave, in which hundreds of deaths will occur. Now that the forward operating base has been abandoned, the Volts battleship begins to withdraw. Meanwhile, USMC artillery begins to bombard the Volts base from the new northern front. USMC forces begin to group and harass Volts with small arms fire. Eventually, USMC begins to fortify the front with walls and trenches, which would eventually become their graves. With the front secure, USMC begins their first forward offensive. This would be the first of many. Just as quickly as it started, the entire offensive force was killed, and USMC was forced to once again hold down in their trenches. Other than the occasional air raid and suicidal offensive, the fighting would degenerate into a static exchange of machine gun fire. Both sides eventually realized that the Quad 50 cal was the most cost-effective defensive machine gun. Around this time, Volts began their first counter-offensive at the northern front. However, instead of marching straight forward, Volts flanked around to the sides and was able to set a slash home. This would lead to many decisive victories in the future. Distracted by Wally's covering fire, most of USMC ignored the Volts units that made it to the flank. By this time, USMC also began using the Quad 50 cal. So many casualties for so little land. This is modern war. Thanks to the slash home Volts set at the flank, Volts would gain the ability to quickly attack from the side. This would be the key to their future victories. After repelling Volt's first flank attack, USMC once again made a forward offensive. This offensive quickly failed thanks to Quad 50 cals. In order to repel more flank attacks, USMC deployed a tank. With the flank secured, USMC again attempted an offensive. Then Volts again used their /home to attack from the flank again. And once again USMC had to return to their trenches. This process would begin again. And again. And again. And again, and again. And again, and again. But this time, Volts would allow the USMC offensive to overextend and then deliver a decisive, finishing blow with multiple tanks. Now, the trenches would be converted into a mass grave. After several minutes of bloodshed, the fighting degenerated into a fist, pistol, and sword fight. Organized resistance from the northern front had ceased, with the exception of an inconsequential missile barrage. And so, after hundreds of deaths on both sides, Volts had succeeded in capturing USMC's useless trench. However, a foreign power would soon interfere. The last super soldier in the world appeared. This armor set was banned from the game previously for being too powerful, but due to the way the ban item plugin works, the plugin does not allow the admiral to take off the armor. Thus, he is forced to wear the armor until he dies. The Admiral was finally able to rest in peace by using an HBM mod flipped revolver. And the armor set would be put in display at spawn. And so, the first major war finally ended. Naturally more fighting would occur later, but I was too busy to film any of it. Go join the server now, and become a part of this saga yourself. Also, use /buy and Patreon to donate.